Have you ever noticed that some of the richest people on Earth don't look rich at all? They're not covered in gold chains, they're not wearing sparkling diamond jackets, and they're not stepping out of their private jets draped in glittering accessories like a celebrity trying to grab headlines. In fact, some of them look so ordinary that if you walked past them in a coffee shop, you might not even take a second glance. They blend into the crowd in simple jeans, basic sneakers, and a plain t-shirt. But if you look closely, really closely, there's one small detail that quietly gives them away. Not a mansion, not a yacht, not even a flashy car. It's something that sits right on their wrist. It's a watch, but not just any watch. This isn't the kind you'll find in a mall display case or glowing under the bright lights of a jewelry store. Imagine two billionaires meeting for the first time in a boardroom. They don't need to brag about their fortunes or list their achievements. Instead, all it takes is one quick glance at the other's wrist. In that moment, a silent message is exchanged. I know who you are, and you know who I am. It's respect. It's trust. It's a quiet nod that says, we're in the same league. And that, right there, is why this simple-looking timepiece has been nicknamed the Billionaire's Handshake. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this fascinating secret. By the end, you'll see how something so small could carry a message louder than the roar of a private jet. Background: watches as silent status. Symbols. To understand why a single watch can hold so much weight in billionaire culture, we need to travel back in time, literally and figuratively. Watches were never just about telling the hour. From the moment humans first learned to track time, we've been fascinated by the idea of controlling it. Sundials, pocket watches, and eventually wristwatches weren't just tools. They became cultural milestones, objects of pride, and even symbols of legacy. Think about the mid-20th century. Back then, a watch wasn't something you swapped out every year to chase a trend. It wasn't disposable. Instead, it was an heirloom. Soldiers returning from war often received watches to commemorate their service. A father might pass his watch down to his son on a graduation day. A businessman might wear the same wristwatch for decades as a symbol of consistency and discipline. Each tick of the second hand carried history. Now, as society grew wealthier and more industrialized, watches began to split into categories. There were everyday watches, affordable and practical, worn by the masses. But there was also a growing culture of craftsmanship, where watches weren't just machines, but works of art. These weren't simply about tracking minutes and hours. They were about precision, heritage, and the story of the people who made them. For the wealthy, this became a subtle way to communicate status. Unlike flashy jewelry or fast cars, a high-end watch could go unnoticed by most people. But among those who knew, collectors, enthusiasts, and yes, billionaires, it became a quiet badge of identity. A Rolex wasn't just a timepiece, it was a declaration of success. A Patek Philippe wasn't just a watch, it was a legacy. Over time, certain brands rose above the rest. Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, Vacheron Constantin, Richard Mille. It was about access. You couldn't simply walk into a store and grab one. You needed connections, patience, and often, a reputation. And this is where the roots of the billionaire handshake were planted. Because in the world of the ultra-wealthy, being subtle is often more powerful than showing off. The story of the billionaire's handshake. Watch. Now let's zoom in on the watch itself, the centerpiece of this secret code. What exactly makes a timepiece worthy of being called the billionaire's handshake? It's not just the materials, though gold, platinum, and titanium often make appearances. It's not just about precision, even though these watches are among the most accurate in the world. It's about something deeper: scarcity, heritage, and the story it tells. Take the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711, for example, and a design so understated you could miss it in a crowd. There are no diamonds, no loud logos, no screaming details. If you didn't know better, you might mistake it for a regular watch. If you're lucky enough to buy it at retail, you might pay around $30,000. But on the resale market, that same watch has gone for $100,000 or more, depending on the model and demand. For billionaires, though, it's not about the price tag. It's about what owning one says. I'm not just new money. I've earned my place in this club. Why billionaires? Love it. So why would someone with billions in their bank account choose a watch that looks so simple? Shouldn't they want the one dripping in diamonds, glowing like a spotlight? Here's the thing. Anyone with money can buy flashy, but not everyone can buy taste. Billionaires operate in a world where everything is available. Exotic cars, private islands, custom mansions, you name it, they can get it. But when everything is easy to buy, exclusivity becomes the true prize. Psychologically, it's also a shield. Many billionaires don't want to attract unnecessary attention. A flashy diamond Rolex screams, "Look at me!" But an understated Patek Philippe or Audemars Piguet Royal Oak blends into the untrained eye. To the public, it looks simple, but to insiders, it's unmistakable. For billionaires, this is invaluable. Time is their most precious resource, and they don't waste it building trust from scratch with everyone they meet. Instead, the watch does the talking for them. It's a filter, a shortcut, and a secret code rolled into one. Examples. Who wears the Billionaire Handshake watch? Warren Buffett, for example, has worn the same Rolex day date for decades. For him, it's not about showing off, but about consistency. The day date is iconic, and it represents stability, something Buffett himself is known for. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, is often spotted in plain gray t-shirts. He doesn't flaunt his wealth. But when he does wear a watch, it's usually subtle, understated, and meaningful. For a man worth billions, it's not about being noticed. It's about belonging to the circle that understands. Then there's Jay-Z. He straddles the line between celebrity and billionaire. Yes, he owns flashy watches, but he also owns some of the rarest and most respected models in the world, including multiple Patek Philippe Nautilus pieces. To him, watches are more than accessories. They're investments and cultural statements. Elon Musk, despite his reputation as a futuristic innovator, has been seen with Omega and Tag Heuer watches. They're not diamond-encrusted, but they carry history, craftsmanship, and legacy. The hidden meaning, the handshake. Think about what a handshake means in everyday life. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It communicates confidence, respect, and trust without a single word. A weak handshake leaves doubts. A firm handshake leaves an impression. That's the exact energy this watch carries. For billionaires, the watch is the handshake before the handshake. It's the introduction before the introduction. It tells a story without needing to be explained. It cuts through the surface level and speaks directly to the values that matter in their world: patience, exclusivity, and belonging. Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed uncovering this hidden world, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this video with a friend who loves stories about wealth and power, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the untold codes of the elite.